I'm really happy to be here today with Chris. How do you say your last name, Chris?
Pyeatt.
Pyatt. Okay, well
Yeah.
that was my guess, but you never know. I'm
It's
happy
not
to be
phonetic
here
at
today.
all.
It's not phonetic at all. No. Happy to be here today with Chris Pyatt. I pulled up his LinkedIn profile just so I could tell you a little bit about him, but I'm going to be talking with him about him. So he says here he's a career coach. He's a resume expert. He's a podcast host, which I have watched several of his podcasts, and he's very good. He's a LinkedIn expert. I don't know what that means. I will ask him that. And he wants to help you land your next promotion or job. And that may be something that's really needed. As I've seen, Elon Musk has laid off about 10% of his workforce. I
Yeah.
got a thing this morning from my son, who is a Shopify employee. They're
hmm
laying off 10% over at Shopify, which, sometimes I wonder. I'm going to get back to my other screen. Sometimes I wonder if the more we talk about this stuff, the more we make it
Happen.
worse in our minds.
Self-fulfilling
What do you think?
prophecy.
Yeah, exactly. A self-fulfilling prophecy.
So
Um,
go ahead.
well, I'm just wondering, has your business gone up? You do you place people? Tell me a little bit about what you do.
Sure. So I've only been in business for like 3, 4 months as a consultant, career
Okay.
coach. So this is very new to me.
Hmm.
I study. So let's talk about one of the questions, and then it ties into this, which is a social media expert or LinkedIn expert. So
Okay.
I attend Johns Hopkins University, and I do corporate communication for my master's program, in an emphasis with social media marketing and strategy. Um,
Hmm.
and Johns Hopkins is one of the top programs for communication in the nation for my
Really, I thought it
program.
was for doctors.
It is, but there's not a lot of grad schools that do communication.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so it's very well known for its communication field. Um,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
with that, I've had the opportunity to study and to practice, and so this was all dreamt or became a fruition out of the hope and dream of wanting to help people, but then learning about social media, and I learned that that's a way I can help people. Social
Mm.
media is really amorphous to a lot of people. They're not really sure how to get it to work for them. They try to use LinkedIn, but they only use it when they're job searching, and they feel like it's a failure because they apply to 800 jobs and they don't get any interviews. Um,
Right.
so one of the reasons why you don't get interviews, and that helps me be a LinkedIn expert, is I know how to help optimize it to get
Mm.
you noticed by the right people and to put the keywords in there for your industry. And so being a LinkedIn expert is knowing how to do that, but also being willing to research. So as a career coach, I research your industry. Nobody knows everything, and most people don't even know very much about many industries. They kind of know
Wow.
what they did for a living or what they do. And I
Mm.
pride myself on, I've spent a life interviewing people just for fun. I'll stand in a grocery store and ask people all these questions about what they do for a living, how big their home is, where they live, how many
Right.
kids they have. I just interview people for fun. And in doing that, I've learned a lot about a lot of different industries because people are willing to talk if you're willing to listen to them.
Mm.
And so, am I an expert at other industries? No, but I would say that I've developed a unique skill set to know how to help people explain and sell themselves in today's market with transferable skills.
I
Um,
see.
and so that's one of my
A-
key takeaways as a career coach is to help
And
people
now
do that.
has this become a full-time thing for you?
No, no, I do a
Not
full
yet.
time job. Yeah,
Okay. But you're
I
you're
hope
working that way.
I hope so. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Because it sounds like you know what you're doing.
I hope
Of
so.
course, I've had a lot of people tell me they know what they're doing, but I think it's the white glasses. That's what I
Uh,
think.
that's what I'm talking about.
That's your unique trademark. The first time I saw those, I said, "Nobody's doing the white glasses. This guy's good. He's found the thing."
Now, do
So,
I now? No, I didn't. I'm sorry, I didn't answer your question. Do I place people? One of the things
yes.
that I do as a career coach is I write resumes. I do feature posts for people on LinkedIn, which helps give them visibility. And
Mm,
that's really the struggle in the job market is you need visibility. You got to get in front of the right people. We used to,
yes.
right? you have gray hair, so I'm going to assume that you're older than 50. Are you older than 50?
Oh yeah, way older than 50.
So
I'm
my
way
dad, my
past
dad,
50.
my dad is in his late 60s, retired a few years ago. My dad's whole career was have a resume, walk in and go try to talk to the business owner or the hiring manager,
Yep.
hand them your resume, and
Yep.
present yourself. That's how you
Yep.
got the interview. Was presenting yourself as a competent professional, as an architect, and that's how he got jobs. Was in Portland, Oregon. The truth is, you can't do that. Like if I were to try to go to the
No.
corporate office where my office is, they have security guards. You can't
Yeah, they
even
won't
talk
let
to the
you in.
people at my organization. It's on a 12th story tower in Washington D.C. There's no shot if you don't work there with a badge. You're not getting in
Right.
to give anybody a resume. So the way that we do that is I help people network. So I'm trying to build my network so that I have a plethora of hiring managers and recruiters to help you connect with the right individual.
Okay. So, is it true what they say then? Really, the hiring people don't read the resume till after six computers have read them. Is
So
that kind of a
I was just talking to a recruiter that told me that was totally false.
really?
He said
Okay.
a recruiter was just telling me at another company that I'm connected with, and we're actually going to be doing a podcast together. On my podcast, he's going to come on,
Okay,
and
that'd be good.
he was telling me the truth about it is he said this whole ATS thing, which right is where your tracking system,
Mm-hmm.
um, for resumes. He said, I don't know what this whole farce is about people saying you have to have a score of 80. He said there is no ATS that is on, and he works for a large company. I'm not going to name drop, but he works for a big company,
Right.
and he said even a company my size, no system is actually checking your resume before human eyes view it.
Mm,
And he said, so human eyes spend about 20 to 30 seconds to look at your resume and decide whether they want to move forward or not out of a few hundred resumes. So that's the real truth. The truth is, you got, at least the truth I've been told, is that you got to captivate the human eye.
on your resume,
Yeah. And your
the human
LinkedIn.
eye,
So he
not the
spends most
computer.
of his day, that's right. Yeah. The human eye. He spends most of his day looking at LinkedIn, reaching out to people on LinkedIn. A lot of his, what are they're now called. So I guess there's a little bit of a difference. I'm not sure exactly what it sounds to me like they do both. I've talked with both people, but there's a talent sourcer and then there's a recruiter. I think different
Mm,
companies call them different names. But so a talent sourcer, absolutely, they spend most of their time on social media trying to source talent through people's LinkedIn profiles.
hmm.
And they sift through your resumes on Indeed and Monster Job, or is that the one? Job
Yeah,
Monster.
it's yeah,
Yeah.
monster.com. Yeah,
So those different things.
right. Well, the reason I was asking about that is because I went one time. This is like 15 years ago. I had
Sure.
gone to a resume writing seminar,
Cool.
and they were having you right at the top, as you put your name, and then underneath it you put all the things that you were good at, like keyword. You would do the keywords, and they said the reason you do that is because the computer is going to scan this and read these, and then it's going to actually sort things out into the piles, and then it gets into the hands of the hiring people. So if they're doing
So
away with that, I think that's a good thing. But we're also finding out that computers have feelings now,
yeah,
according,
because they keep
according
adapting.
to some of the Google people. So I don't know if they're going to take over, but I really would like them out of the hiring process. That's for sure. Then some of the things that I follow your posts, and
Yeah,
some of the things that you've put. This latest one I found quite interesting. And
sure.
let's see,
Go
what
ahead.
was the last one you put up? I'm just gonna
I
take
put
a
up two
look
or
here.
three today, but there's one that's trending right now that's doing very well. Um,
Just because someone doesn't have 3+ years experience in
yeah.
your exact industry doesn't mean what?
So it doesn't mean that they don't have relevant experience.
Relevant experience, exactly.
So I've coached a few dozen people just over the last few weeks, and
Right.
I've been told this multiple times that they've either been told in interviews or they find in every job description. that most companies that they speak to, they're like, we are looking for 3+ years in financial analytics, what is called FP&A. If you don't have FP&A experience, but you have data analytic experience, then you're not qualified. And I'm trying to let people know that's just not true. A data analyst can view financial data and they can figure out the gaps for financial data. You can teach them. Just
Hmm.
be the point of an analyst is to sift through data. That's the point. And you should be more concerned with whether they actually have an analytical mindset. How do they look at data? Are they capable of finding the gaps? Do they know how to look for trends? That's what the analyst is paid for. They're not
Yeah.
paid to be a decision maker. You pay someone else to be the decision maker. But the fact that you tell them that they're not worthy of the job because they haven't looked at financial data, I think is ludicrous.
So do you? I'm just, well, it is ludicrous, but how many resumes are they looking at once? And the thing I'm wondering is, are they just finding quick ways to get it sifted rather than really looking? You know, they've been tasked with hiring for a particular position, let's say,
That's that's right.
and they're trying to get that done because the boss that tasked them with it is saying, I've got to get this filled because whatever. So they're really not looking too hard. Unfortunately, what I've found, see now what I do is build teams.
Cool.
And I help people build teams. I mean, that's my thing. And I use
Awesome.
DISC, I've used MBTI. But what happens, I've found, is that most of the hires, and you can tell me if this fits with what you're doing. New hires last about 6 months, on average, about 60 to 70% last 6 months, and then they go somewhere else. It's almost like they jump into the job because they've been offered it while they're still looking, and
Sure.
because nothing that has been presented to them, it's a job, it's not a career.
That's right.
And I look at it as the person hiring is not trying to build a team that wants to stay and work. They're just filling this job because they've been told to fill this job. Now,
Okay.
one of the things that you've been saying is you're trying to build in the people you're helping a way to get noticed. But
Yes.
is there something else that we can be doing to help them notice if this is going to be a place they fit rather than I need money, I need a paycheck right now. I need this much money for rent, and they're going to grab something that may pay them for 6 months, but they're
Mm-hmm.
miserable the whole time they're there.
Yeah.
And one of the things I like to help people with is saying, look at this circumstance. First of all, this is the kind of person you are. Do you really want to work here? Let's
Mm-hmm.
say your personality profile is that of an accountant. Do you
Sure.
want to work in a sales pool in a phone bank? I mean, that is just, your skill set. It's not going to be there. But I need the money. It's it's one of those things I feel so bad because the money becomes this driving thing when I believe that if you know how to look right and you find the right people to help you look, you stand a much better, a higher percentage of finding a career rather than just finding another job. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. So even in my current role, I've been
Right.
here for less than a year, just about a year, um, and I've been headhunted by multiple companies for
Okay.
major pay raises, 30 to 50% pay raises,
Wow.
and I've turned them down. And one of the reasons why I turned them down is for two major reasons. One is they wanted me to go back to an office, and I told them I said I'm blessed to make enough money that I've hit that level
Mm.
that money isn't everything anymore. I'm not worried about day-to-day bills. I'm saving for retirement, all the things. I'm blessed with a good salary for what I get paid to do for a living. I recognize that millions in America they're not, and around the world
Right.
don't have that.
Right.
So I'm blessed to have that. So I get to choose. But the other thing, and so full remote is more important than money to me. To be able to be near my family, to have lunch with my two young kids and my wife is more important than to make another $30,000 to $40,000. However, the other thing that's important to me is team synergy. And I've told hiring managers that wanted me, and I told them, honestly, the risk right now for me to leave my team is too great. I have such a great team. It's the best team I've ever worked on in my
That's
life.
good.
They're a lot of fun. They allow me to have a real voice. They're very empowering, and they show it every day. They don't just say it. They show me and they let me speak in every meeting. I'm on a strategist team, and I'm not just the analyst. I get to do lots of things that help Chris feel motivated. So I'm a talker, which is a rare analytical skill. I love to talk. Most analysts want to shut up and be behind the computer. Well, in
Right.
my specific role right now, they need talkers. I'm on a strategist team, and we sit in a lot of meetings, and they need people that are willing to speak up and share their mind and have a real dialogue with other working professionals. I'm the youngest person on my team by like 12 years. There's a lot of people that are 40, 50, and 60 and 70 years old that have 40 and 50 years working experience. But they listen to me like I'm an equal. And they've pulled me aside in meetings and said, I love the ideas that you bring. I love the freshness as being a millennial. And they said, and I love that you listen to me, somebody that's a baby boomer, and you still listen to me and you acknowledge that I have a lot of years of experience, even if I don't understand how to use all the software you know how to use. And they do. They have a lot of years of leadership. So I'm in a very unique dynamic that is wonderful that I recognize as a big resume builder that is more important than money.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So, listening to you talk, looking at your profile, and just knowing what I know about team building and working with different personalities, I personally, I look at you and I say that's a guy that's an influencer. Put him in a crowded room, and people will be drawn to him for whatever reason. Probably the white glasses, but no, they'll be drawn
Nothing
to him,
else.
if nothing else. But they'll be drawn to him. I would hazard a guess to say you're probably the life of every party that you've been to, and people want to be with you, and you're a lot of fun. Being a data analyst doesn't fit with that profile at all, but evidently you've found a way in your personality to have enough of that there
Yeah.
to make it work. And it's one of those roles that's very rare, and you're very privileged to be able to negotiate it. Are you good with Sudoku? That's always the first question you ask about data analysts. Can you do Sudoku? And your
I'm
answer is,
decent. I'm decent. I wouldn't say I'm really good, but I'm decent.
you're not like those guys on YouTube that get so excited about filling out those number puzzles.
No, so that's the thing.
Yeah,
I don't know how long you have, but I'm trying to be brief.
we're
I'm a
okay.
talker. Sorry.
We're okay.
So the truth is this, and this is one of the reasons why I get headhunted. The truth is I'm
Okay.
not a data head. In my industry, they're called data heads. People that are statisticians. They're so good with calculus and stats that that's all they think about. And they
Right.
see numbers and they know how to manipulate them. That's not me. That's not me. I am the person that understands data heads, and I am the person that is the mediator. I understand and can work with them, and I'm an Excel expert. I can manipulate data really well in Excel, but Excel is more like formulas. It's not as much being a statistician. But then when the statisticians explain all the things they did in Excel, I can then turn around and explain it to higher ups. I can explain it to decision makers in their language. So I've also done policy analytics. Most financial people don't understand policy or don't want to do policy. And I've been recruited by companies because I do policy analytics, which is a very technical writing skill and communicating. And then I also do financial, so I understand budgets and finance, and I understand revenue, ROI, all that stuff. And it's a good mix for me.
That's good. And you're still able to do it from home, which
Yes.
in order to get that, you have to be very good at what you do. because most of these guys want you down there so they can look at you.
Yeah.
Just to see if you're
Yep.
working, I suppose. I don't know why they want to look at you,
Uh,
but there's
I'm not that good looking.
yeah, I know. But what you're putting out is evidently has enough clout and value that you are able to say, I want to work from home, and they'll say yes, and I want to get paid this much, and they'll say yes. So to the person that's watching this, maybe they're going through a layoff, and
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you, since you're the coach, what are the steps? They see the axe falling at the end of this month. What are the
Mhm.
steps they need to be doing to get on with life?
So
Yeah.
so first I think that you should have retrospection.
Mm.
I think that you should acknowledge how many years you put at the organization. You should I advise the people I coach to like write up a piece of paper and write the good things that happened there. What experiences did you have? And then also write a list of bad things,
Mm.
things that you put up with that you didn't like, that caused you more stress than you thought was worth it for the money. And regardless of your age, I don't care if you're 55 and you only have 10 years left in your career, or whether you're 25 and you still have 40 years left. What I'm trying to help people understand is going back to one of your original questions of like, what do I do as a coach and about careers and a job.
Mm-hmm.
I want people to find the passion
Mm-hmm.
and then be able to be paid following their passion. And the way that you do that is to do something similar to what I've done, which is try to carve out a niche in your field. So just because you've been a software engineer, I know people that did software engineering for 20 years and they're like, and I hated it. I hated it every day. I'm going to go into sales. I don't want to be behind a computer. I want to go talk to people. I want to go do something. I want to go travel.
Mm.
Sales offers a lot of those things. And they've done well at sales. But they did well at software engineering too because they were technically good. They had an MBA, whatever. They had a master's in, engineering, but they decided it wasn't a good fit for
Yeah,
their personality.
exactly.
So do retrospection, do introspection, and spend a little bit of time doing that. Don't go spend weeks or months. We're not talking about meditation. I like meditation, but we're just talking about just recognize the good and the bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Number two is go figure out what title you want next. Go change your LinkedIn to that title.
Mm.
Create a banner, hire a career coach to write your headline and your banner to say that title. So anybody that looks for you. So SEO is still a thing. When you were talking about a computer sifting out your resume, sifting out your profiles, what the computer does is when you go to a job description and on the recruiter side for LinkedIn, it is sifting out certain people, lots of people, when they click that they want someone that is an expert at Excel, they want someone that understands something called Tableau or SQL or whatever that is, or CRMs for sales, for customer relationship managers.
Mm.
It will sift out people and say, it's not going to show them me. I don't know about CRM. I've never done a CRM. I've never been a sales guy in that way. So my profile won't be shown. Now, if you had key skills to go get a job in your industry, but you omitted all those things on your LinkedIn profile, you will not be shown. So if you don't know how to do that, you need to go hire somebody. Now, I want to give a really big warning. I've visited with other coaches, and I've visited with the people that I consult with. So right now I've been offering some free consultations. And I just have to tell you, Wink, I'm appalled by what some coaches cost and the value
No,
they add.
too bad.
I have been told multiple times that people pay so these are people that have been laid off. Some of them were just divorced. These people have real hardships. I just chatted with someone yesterday. She has a real hardship. She has to downsize her apartment. All these different real changes in her life in the last 2 months. And someone just cost her $1,600 and their resume was atrocious. It's not going to get her anywhere. And I was so appalled that for free, I offered to quickly edit it for her and get it into a more streamlined format to really stand out to somebody. So one of the things that people need to recognize is my resume up to date? You're being laid off.
Yes.
In a month, go figure out right now before you get laid off. Get a head start. Be realistic with yourself. I'm being laid off. You need to accept that. That's happening. It sucks, but it's happening. So what am I doing to mitigate the risk to myself and my family to provide? Whether you're a female or a male, if you're the provider that's paying the bills, what are you doing to mitigate that risk? Social media is how you try to mitigate that. Go start networking. Go find people in the industry that you want to work in. I don't care. We started with this question of my post today. Even if it's a new industry, that's fine. Go find people at the position or the level you want to be at your next job. That may be a promotion, it may be a demotion, it may be a lateral move. And
Hmm.
then go try to network. Go try to do a coffee chat with someone at the company that you want to work for and try to visit with them. Try to send a message and say, I'd love to visit with you for 15 minutes over Zoom or over, I can't remember what this is called, Riverside, over Riverside.
Yeah, Zoom is better because anyway, go ahead.
Okay. And what I'm trying to coach people, my offer to them is this free coaching advice right here. If you connect with somebody, you're not going to get a job because of your resume, like 80% of the time in 2022. You're going to get a job because of who you know in the company. That's just the way it works.
That's true.
I'm sorry to say that to everybody that's watching, but the truth is, if I can go and I'm working with a client right now, and she's applied to many jobs over the last many months, never even had an interview. Within less than 5 minutes, I've found her 3 people I'm directly connected to, first connections, and I know them. They've commented on my content. I've communicated with them that I could reach out and in 5 minutes get her a 10-minute interview. That job has 500 applicants in 24 hours right now.
Right.
Her resume is not going to get her an interview right now. I already know that. But my handshake, my virtual handshake of saying, hey, Samantha, I'm using false names. Hey, Samantha, I'd like you to meet Sam.
Hmm.
They're excellent at doing this. I think that you'd really would be interested in speaking just 10 minutes with them. Oh, that's great. Thank you so much, Chris. I just helped somebody for free that wasn't a paid client, and I was able to connect them. I saw them comment on a post, and I said, hey, I know somebody in my network that's looking for that job title. And they said, oh, really? And they said, I'd be happy to talk to them. And this person's been looking for 6 months. So the truth is that value worth paying for? So my last tip is maybe you should consider hiring a career coach. But make sure, ask them what their process is. That's my warning. Don't pay $1,600 to someone that simply says they're going to edit your resume, update your LinkedIn profile, and leave you hanging. That's not worth it. There are people that you can pay for $200 to do that.
Hmm.
You don't gotta. So go out there and spend a few days talking to a few career coaches before you decide, and figure out if the career coach matches your personality. You're human. You have a personality. You just lost a job or you're losing your job. Find someone that meshes. You build teams. You know what I'm talking about.
Right.
Find somebody that's going to motivate you. Find someone that's going to sync with you and going to synergize. Don't just hire the first person that says they're a career coach. And I'm speaking about myself too. I don't mesh with everybody. There's people that I clash with. You probably don't want to hire me.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I'm okay with that.
That you saying what'd you say, 1,400 to $1,600, I think, for the fee.
Yeah. Hmm.
I
Yeah.
FYI, I just was someone reached out to me saying, "Hey, I can help you get more clients for what you do." I said, "Really?" Yeah, we have this training
Oh, yeah.
program, and it's $15,000. But don't you love that? Don't you love that? Oh my goodness! I said 15,000, but
Well, let me just fork it out for you. Let me get my
oh
checkbook.
wait, but we have a special today for $9,500. You get the same benefits if you act today. I'm like, are you really wanting to help me, or are you just? I'm like, and they told me I can go to PayPal and finance this whole thing, and I'm like, wait a minute, on the hook for, once upon a time, 10,000 was a car. It's not anymore,
You're
but
right. Once upon a time.
once upon a time. But I mean, that's still a lot of money. And
It's only 2 tanks of gas
but
now.
the thing is, you're saying 1,600, and then these other people are saying 10,000, and there's everywhere in between, and these poor people that are just needing some help to find, they are so confused as to finding
Yeah.
just some kind of direction. That's why I want people like you that I can talk to, that I can put out there. I'm not saying you just said send me $1,500 and I'll fix you up, but I want people.
I don't charge that. So
Yeah, but I just want people that are going to be honest, which is what you've done today, and you've been honest because people need honesty. They don't need
yeah,
sales right now; they need honesty. And my hunch is you'll probably get pretty busy in the next year because it looks like this economy is going to be one that's very much fluid, and
yeah.
you
Sadly,
people will need what you have, and especially if you do it with integrity and with the client in mind and not yourself. You know,
yeah,
people will say, "I Chris helped me, and you need to talk to him." And that's,
yeah.
that's the best thing possible. The old adage is still true. It's not what you know, but who you know.
Who you
Yeah,
know.
who you know. So it's
And my favorite thing is from Stephen R. Covey in closing. If you learn nothing else from me, one of the favorite line is, "People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care."
right.
So, people are humans,
Yeah.
and they need a career coach that cares.
What's weird is that, and I find this 15, let's see, how long ago was it? 22, I'm sorry, 22 years ago, I was doing an undergrad in management of organizational development, and we were on the
Cool.
leadership module. And we read M. Scott Peck, Covey, several. We had a reading list of about 100 books. And
Yeah,
one of the things that kept coming up over and over was that good leadership, is disappearing. And so that's
sure.
why, I kind of, this team building thing that I focus on, part of what I do is leadership training. And
Cool.
I find that that good leaders are just not there anymore. And what you're doing is you're trying to get people connected with the right people that are going to make them the best that they can be, right?
That's the goal.
That really seems to be what your heartbeat is. And if somebody's coming to you as a career coach, and you probably follow up on them periodically. I had 2 interviews. Oh, how'd they go? And they say a
Yeah.
few things, and you go, "Whoa." Have you ever had that happen? Wait a minute, you're not going to like this, because you were able to identify it, or
Yeah.
you say, "Hey, that sounds really promising. I'm going to be thinking
Yeah.
about you in the next few days." So this is good, Chris. What you're doing is good stuff, and I'm just gonna when I come across people and when I post this, I'm really gonna have people take a serious look at your profile, at what you do. I think all your contact information is there if they want to get a hold of you,
Yeah.
and that you're a guy that they can go see. That's really going to have some straight answers for them and encouragement too. And I think we need that as well.
We do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So thanks for being with me today,
Th-
and thanks for taking the
Hey, it
time.
was